A metallic glint snagged Mac's gaze, an anomaly, a defiance against the vast crimson expanse. Mac Holloway, evaluating Mrs. Abernathy's allegedly refurbished dune buggy, noticed it, an intrusion in the desolate Sonoran landscape. He cut the engine, the abrupt stillness amplifying his pulse. 3 decades and 8 years of mending everything imaginable had sharpened his intuition. That half-buried form in the dune was unequivocally extraterrestrial. "Computer indicates 9 miles to the closest road," Mac murmured, his sun-etched face squinting against the unforgiving afternoon sun. Etched deeper as he verified the coordinates on his device, grit nestled into his worn work boots, and perspiration soaked the collar of his sun-bleached jumpsuit. The Holloway's fix anything. Garage emblem partially masked by engine grime he'd inhabited, the same uniform for so long it had conformed to his wiry physique. The fabric threadbare at the elbows. Something about the object's geometry felt disturbingly off, fundamentally wrong, like a tipsy mathematician's attempt to construct a 7-cornered triangle. Mac advanced warily. The sand whispered secrets beneath his rugged boots. The unearthed hull shimmered with an ethereal iridescence, a spectacle no paint could replicate. "Damn, that's unbelievable," he breathed, his hand drawn to its surface. Cool to the touch, despite its eons-long desert bake. His seasoned fingers found no joins, no bolts, no fusions. The exposed section felt seamlessly singular. A buzz from Max's phone. Delilah, his AI companion, texted, "Abernathy's on the warpath. Don't break it." Frustratingly buggy. She stiffed me. He jammed the phone back in his pocket. Foreclosure loomed, just 23 days away. Mac had leveraged everything to acquire cutting-edge diagnostic tools last year, right before the economic downturn. Now he faced insurmountable debts and insolvent clientele. The bank manager's feigned empathy had vanished 3 missed payments prior. A glint caught his eye in the sand. Mac stooped, retrieving a peculiar multi-tool, unlike any Swiss Army knife or Leatherman he'd encountered. It was remarkably lightweight, featuring retractable elements, components that shifted as he handled them, instinctively pocketing it. A mechanic's ingrained habit of salvaging anything potentially valuable later. "Hey there," Mac hailed, cautiously circling the enigmatic vehicle. "Anyone home?" Silence. Rounding what he perceived as the front, he spotted what appeared to be a portal or access point. No handle, no keypad, just a subtle depression in the seamless exterior. His phone vibrated again. "Boss, you haven't budged for 15. You all right?" Mac replied, "Stumbled upon something bizarre. Looks like a downed aircraft." 3 points materialized as Delilah analyzed satellite imagery. No downed aircraft reported nearby. Recommendation: contact authorities. "Not that kind," Mac responded. The dots persisted, more insistently. "Clarify. Suspect extraterrestrial spacecraft. Immediate analysis. Probability of encountering alien spacecraft, 10%. Music. Recommendation: seek shade, hydrate. Dessert hallucinations can be potent." Mac scoffed, pocketing his phone. Delilah was great for scheduling, but his unyielding literalism could be intensely frustrating. He refocused on the construct, positioning his hand against the recess he believed to be the portal. Absolutely no effect. He experimented with force, direction, and angle, all to no avail. "Likely requires a key," he muttered, then recalled the peculiar implement in his possession. Retrieving it, he scrutinized its design. One extremity featured a projection seemingly tailored for the indentation, a worthwhile gamble. Instantly upon contact, azure energy cascaded outwards from the nexus. The previously immutable surface undulated, mirroring the perturbation of liquid. Vanished abruptly, Max recoiled, almost tipping backward onto the floor where the portal once stood now, stretched a gaping entrance unveiling a shadowy expanse. Chilled breezes drifted forth, laced with the tang of ozone and spice. His device vibrated feverishly. He peeked down. Delilah, supervisor, heart rate peaking at 143 BPM, initiating emergency medical sequence in half a minute, unless dismissed. Dismiss. He tapped swiftly. I'm all right. Merely startled. Positive vitals show grave duress just unveiled. A spacecraft gateway. Another pregnant silence that lacks humor. Max, recalibrate your wit. He shoved the phone away, eyes fixed on the entrance. A softly glowing blue corridor beckoned, light radiating from the very walls. Ignoring every sci-fi movie warning blaring in his mind, Max ventured in. The corridor was tight, yet impossibly high, built perhaps for a different species. A cool, refreshing breeze replaced the desert's oppressive heat as he advanced, lights igniting in his path, while the shadows intensified, crafting a clear path ahead. "Hello?" he echoed, his voice strangely muted, as if the very walls were devouring any resonance. "Is anyone present?" The corridor broadened into a vast chamber, highlighted by a dominant control console. 6 seats, or what he presumed were seats, faced a series of opaque, glassy panels. The ceiling ascended into a majestic dome, yet Max's gaze was captivated by the breathtaking panorama. Expansive, transparent sections of the hull exposed the arid landscape beyond. From warped, non-Euclidean angles, one display showcased the heavens, another the faraway peaks, and yet another the sands right under the vehicle. All impossible perspectives from his vantage point. External sensors of some kind, Max speculated, striving for comprehension. He edged toward the console warily, perceiving an intentional oversizing and spacing unsuited to human interaction. As he closed in on the core panel, it ignited, strange symbols cascading across the surface, indecipherable glyphs that assaulted his. Eyes averted, lest a direct gaze trigger a disquieting metamorphosis. English text. System reactivation protocol. Initiated. Genetic scan. Complete. Partial match. Detected. 0 UDRO. 38% concordance with pilot profile. Descendant protocol. Initiating. Max scowled. Descendant protocol? What the? A holographic entity materialized, prompting him to recoil against a bulky seat. Humanoid, yet undeniably alien. Impossibly tall, unnaturally slender, limbs articulating at odd junctures, its integument possessing a azure hue, its face a cephalopod-like array of eye stalks and intricate mouth parts. Salutations, descendant, it resonated, mouth movements defying Max perception. I am Navigation Intelligence Pass 79, last officer of the research vessel, Luminous Improbability. Your distress is valid. Your genetic drift from the pilot archetype is considerable. Roughly 83,000 generations evolved. Divergence. Max's jaw slackened, his lips flapping soundlessly before he finally stammered. I'm just a grease monkey. The hologram's multifaceted eyes darted, each stalk locking onto a different facet of Max. Your trade is immaterial to the Descendant Protocol. You exhibit the necessary genetic signatures to initiate the failsafe enacted prior to the scattering. The knowledge residing within this vessel is now bequeathed to your bloodline, as foreseen. The scattering? What knowledge? What in the world are you saying? Around Parsi 79's limbs shifted in a manner that could have indicated either stoic forbearance or sheer exasperation, leaving it impossible to discern. The radiant implausibility didn't shatter. Descendant, it was purposefully sequestered on this planet some 23 million years prior, when the Council decided to stifle specific technological advancements. The Aviator, your ancestor however removed, elected to safeguard this knowledge rather than permit its obliteration. Mac felt dizzy. He grasped the console edge to anchor himself. You postulate that an extraterrestrial concealed this vessel here millennia ago? Absolutely not possible, my relation to them. Humankind wasn't present then. Revise the lineage. Your ancestors existed primitively. Before departure, the pilot infused advantageous genetic markers to promising species. These markers would propagate naturally, culminating in a descendant cognitively apt to unearth this vessel. You posit an extraterrestrial meddling with human evolution for this discovery? Someone would discover this vessel, revealing non-human origins. The genetic markers weren't confined to human lineage. They were distributed across diverse species. Humankind merely pioneered the required capabilities. Absent our advances, perhaps cetaceans or corvids might have ultimately unlocked this understanding. Mac raked a hand through his receding hairline. This is utter madness. Your cognitive dissonance is expected. The hologram gestured with a segmented appendage as the console projected a cascade of visuals, schematics, equations, and ideas. These graphics triggered a throbbing sensation within Mac's mind. Yet paradoxically, a subconscious part of him perceived recognizable elements that felt strikingly familiar, resembling echoes of forgotten memories. A tool you envisioned, but never fully leveraged, a mere glimpse into the vast knowledge archived here. Fuel-free energy systems, thought-reactive materials, cellular-level medical restructuring, molecule-by-molecule manufacturing. Why reveal this, and now? 79's gaze fixed on Mac. Your civilization stands at a pivotal moment, technologically advanced enough to commence. Venturing into the cosmos, yet your grasp remains rudimentary, the Council will imminently discover your civilization lacking this database's assets. Humanity's autonomy is statistically improbable post-disclosure. Mac, the technician, couldn't suppress his fascination. He approached, scrutinizing an engine schematic. Inconceivable. They defy physics, your limited comprehension of physics. Data stream 79 validated, albeit partial. Max's phone vibrated anew. He retrieved it. Immediately, Delilah, the mission's lead, noticed atypical energy fluctuations emanating from your sector. Furthermore, several vehicles are rapidly advancing from the northeast, estimated to arrive in approximately 20 minutes, inferred from satellite-observed atmospheric disturbances. He presented the holographic interface. Elaborate. Who is inbound? Paris 79 scrutinized the data, optical sensors flickering. The vessel's power-up sequence inevitably created traceable energy signatures. Your world's primary governing bodies actively scan for such occurrences. They are mobilizing to seize this advanced engineering, presumably the governing forces, perhaps the military, with a high probability of about 80%. Initial engagements between planetary administrations and sophisticated technology often culminate in military containment. Max traversed the room, thoughts swirling. What's my move? I can't just conceal a spacecraft, and a direct confrontation with the military is out of the question. Neither is necessary, the hologram asserted. The vessel's core function is knowledge safeguarding, not conveyance. The data is transferable. It indicated Max's phone. Your device is rudimentary, yet adequate as a provisional repository. A total download would overwhelm its circuits, however. I'm sending a streamlined package of cutting-edge tech. Max eyed his phone wearily. Download alien super tech on this thing. It chokes on 7 tabs. The data's intensely compressed, but the transfer will hog all memory and drain the battery fast. Another alert. Boss, black SUV sighted. ETA 16 minutes. Strongly suggest an immediate return to the dune buggy. Mac acted swiftly. Execute the transfer. Prioritize all available data. Par 79's limbs articulated in a complex sequence. Initiate console device placement. Mac complied. Screen blanked, then illuminated with a torrent of analogous symbols as previously witnessed. Loading sequence initiated. 2%, 7%, 13%. What's the protocol? Post-transfer M questioned, directing a concerned look towards the exterior corridor. Immediate extraction is paramount. Once government entities secure this vessel, they'll attempt data acquisition systems, yet the legacy protocol is now live. Vital data remains secured, protected by biometric authentication tied directly to your genetic code. They gain only a shell without you. Impressive, yet ultimately worthless. The progress indicator reads 41%. Max impatiently drummed his fingers on the console. So they'll come for me? Inevitably. The link between you and this vessel will be uncovered through their inquiries. Expedite your application of the transferred knowledge to form defensive strategies. Eyes narrowed. Speak in English. Protect yourself with our tech before they even suspect you're onto something. The progress bar surged to 68%. A distant whir cut through the air. Helicopter blades. Any way to supercharge this? Mac pressed, dread mounting. Transfers maxed for your device's capacity. Speeding it up risks a total data wipe. 79%, 83%, 86%. The chopper noise intensified. Max's palms were slick. If they nab me here, that's less than ideal. The intel's safe, but indefinite detention for study and questioning. Awesome. Just freaking awesome. The phone chimed. Transfer complete. Max seized it, noting the battery had plummeted to 23%, despite being almost fully charged moments ago. What now? You must evacuate through the emergency hatch on the vessel's underside. It will deposit you safely away from the advancing troops. An underside hatch? How do I access it? Pass instructed, pointing to a seemingly ordinary section of floor. Step there and intensely focus on descending. The vessel responds to directed thought from those with compatible genetics. It's the ultimate security measure. Authentication seemed questionable, yet in dire straits, Mac ventured onto the designated mark, focusing intently. I urgently need to descend now. Swiftly would be optimal. The floor beneath him radiated, then vanished. Mac exclaimed as he descended a mere 6 feet, landing agilely on a compact platform. A round aperture unveiled the sands directly under the vessel. Much appreciated for the heads up, he retorted. Gazing upward at the now sealed aperture, the platform he occupied initiated its descent akin to an elevator, conveying him to terra firma. Beneath the colossal vessel, Mac finally grasped the sheer immensity of the craft. From this vantage, it appeared as a gargantuan, angular teardrop, defying gravity upon its slender base. The hull's metallic sheen mirrored the setting sun, scattering vibrant, prismatic hues across the desolate terrain. A helicopter's whir drew nearer, coupled with the resonant growl of incoming vehicles, precluding any sightseeing. Mac dashed through the sand, maintaining a low profile, utilizing the ship's vastness for concealment as he got his bearings. The dune buggy seemed roughly 400 yards distant. Concealed nearly entirely by jagged rocks, he bolted, sprinting with every ounce of strength. Sand invaded his boots, his lungs screamed, yet terror fueled him. He scrambled into the buggy as the lead SUV topped a far-off dune. The engine sputtered to life hesitantly as he turned the key. "Start, damn you, start!" Mac growled, flooring the accelerator. It coughed, then roared. Slamming it into gear, he sped away, weaving through the rocks to stay hidden from the pursuing vehicles. Possible as he sped, his phone screen ablaze with an unexpected message, not from Delilah. Activating advanced camouflage, the colossal ship shimmered, its surface mirroring the desert hues. Swiftly it vanished, leaving only a heat haze mirage. "That'll hopefully delay them," Mac breathed, pushing the buggy relentlessly, reaching his garage as dusk descended. Stowing Mrs. Abernathy's dune buggy in the service bay, hands trembling, Mac secured the garage. His modest apartment above now felt unfamiliar. Everyday items seemed insignificant after his ordeal. He slumped into his favorite armchair, fixated on his phone. An unfamiliar icon pulsed on the screen, a spiral glyph that seemed to subtly morph when viewed indirectly. He touched it. The display morphed into an alien interface. Remarkably, an innate sense guided him through categorized data, forming a 3D matrix navigable by gestures. He chose one, instinctively recognizing it as energy systems. A detailed manual unfolded, filled with schematics. Astonishingly, Mac grasped complex theories previously unattainable, as if the knowledge awakened dormant neural networks, anciently programmed in his DNA. The document detailed a groundbreaking power generation system, converting ambient thermal energy into electricity with near-flawless efficiency. He recognized most parts as common components, easily purchased or salvaged. "Unbelievable," he breathed. "I can assemble this. I can genuinely construct this." His phone vibrated. A real Delilah message. Boss detected anomalous surveillance nearby. Excessive satellite flybys and signal triangulation zeroing in on the garage. They're hunting him. Max's heart hammered. He craved time. Time to process this revelation. Time to strategize. But how? The alien multi-tool remained in his pocket. He withdrew it, scrutinizing it anew. As before, it seemed to adapt to his touch, his very thoughts. When he envisioned defense, it morphed into a configuration he instinctively knew would generate an obfuscation field. The MAC address triggered it, and his phone pinged instantly. Signal disruption flagged. Connection precarious. Excellent. That could potentially buy him several hours. He plunged back into the extraterrestrial compendium, urgently seeking anything to ameliorate his dire predicament. There was a module on perceptual distortion. He rapidly perused it, discovering a subsection concerning crafting devices to warp human mnemonic encoding. A precisely configured electromagnetic surge could inhibit immediate recall. Memories from being permanently etched into long-term storage. He feverishly crafted a prototype, utilizing scavenged components from a defunct microwave and an antiquated television in his humble kitchen. Mac toiled relentlessly throughout the night, driven by a potent blend of adrenaline and caffeine. As dawn approached, he had successfully assembled 3 remarkable devices: an amplified signal jammer, a portable memory scrambler, and a compact yet astonishingly efficient power generator capable of energizing his entire garage with minimal thermal output. He had just completed the final calibration of the power generator when piercing headlights flooded his windows, signaling the arrival of 3 ominous black SUVs. Inky figures in tailored suits materialized. Mac snatched the memory eraser and signal scrambler, inhaled deeply, and swung the door open preemptively. "Mac Holloway?" inquired the lead agent, a severe woman with closely shorn hair. "Indeed," Mac responded, affecting nonchalance while discreetly initializing the signal jammer. "What brings the Department of Defense to my doorstep at this ungodly hour? I'm Agent Carmichael, and we require some clarification regarding your ventures in the arid expanse yesterday." Mac simulated befuddlement. "The desert? Are you referring to when I... testing Mrs. Abernathy's dune buggy? Did I somehow trespass on restricted government property?" I inquired. The agent's gaze intensified minutely. "Our satellites registered a unique energy anomaly emanating from that vicinity. A follow-up probe exposed remnants of highly sophisticated tech. Satellite surveillance indicates your presence at those coordinates for roughly 49 minutes. Pulled over to relieve myself and inspect the buggy's chassis. Your system must have experienced a malfunction," Mac stated nonchalantly, then motioned towards his garage. "As you observe, I'm simply a humble local mechanic. Nah, I'm not exactly stashing extraterrestrial tech in my oil drums." Agent Carmichael remained stone-faced. "We require access to your property and all electronic devices for inspection. Got a warrant? We can procure one. Return upon acquiring it." Max began to shut the door, but Carmichael wedged her foot in the opening. "Mr. Holloway, this pertains to national security. Your cooperation would be highly advantageous." Max exhaled theatrically, brandishing the memory disruptor cleverly masked as a garage remote. "Actually, you're spot on. Allow me to deactivate the security grid for your convenience." He engaged the device, releasing an almost imperceptible pulse. All 6 agents experienced a synchronized, momentary lapse in awareness, their faces vacant. "May I be of assistance?" Mac inquired with feigned innocence. Agent Carmichael furrowed his brow, clearly disoriented. "We're looking into reports of some peculiar happenings in this vicinity." "Well, nothing out of the ordinary here, save for a fellow trying to salvage his garage. Was there something specific? Specific you were seeking?" The agents exchanged hesitant glances. Their recollection of the last 5 minutes, encompassing their dialogue with Mac and unwavering belief in his implication, had been fractured before solidifying. "I suspect we possess an erroneous location," Carmichael ultimately stated. "Apologies for the disturbance, sir." "No issue. Enjoy your day." Mac secured the door and observed through the blinds as the agents ambled back towards their vehicles, appearing bewildered. They departed deliberately, yet he understood their inevitable return. The memory disruptor offered merely a temporary reprieve, not a permanent solution. Returning to his device, he scoured the alien database, determined to unearth a more enduring fix. 3 days later, Mrs. Abernathy, collecting her revitalized dune buggy, exclaimed with genuine amazement after a brief spin, "It handles like a dream, smoother than brand new." Max, downplaying his brilliance, replied, Just optimized the drivetrain and integrated a cutting-edge energy efficiency module. Expect a 300% fuel economy surge. Mrs. Abernathy's astonishment was palpable. 300%? That's groundbreaking! Max, extending the keys, quipped, "Consider it a complimentary upgrade." "Apologies for the extended buggy service," she said, her gaze sharp with suspicion. "Feeling all right, Mac? You're uncharacteristically generous. And this new gear," she indicated the transformed garage, now showcasing unconventional devices. "Where'd you get these? Just exploring innovative methods? Speaking of which, know anyone needing a heating revamp? I've engineered a revolutionary, nearly free thermal system." News traveled swiftly in the tight-knit town. Within a week, Mac had deployed his groundbreaking heating systems in 7 residences. By month's end, he boasted a waiting list and had recruited 2 aides. The bank's foreclosure threat transformed into an invitation to explore growth funding avenues. When federal officials revisited, this time from the Department of Energy instead of Defense, Mac was prepared. He presented his innovations with refined modesty, sharing that he'd experienced a burst of insight regarding thermal energy transformation, even allowing them to take a heating unit for scrutiny, secure in the knowledge. They'd uncover no alien elements within the parts, just a unique arrangement. Tech journal subscriptions to his garage seemed normal. Many mechanics followed industry trends. Mac delving into advanced physics alongside engine repair manuals might have appeared strange, but nobody scrutinized him. The initial probe was dismissed as a satellite glitch after finding no high-tech signs in the desert. 6 months later, Holloway Energy Solutions secured patents. Evaluating 27 groundbreaking implementations of current tech, Mac strategically unveiled his creations incrementally, each logically extending the previous, avoiding revelations that seemed fantastical, instead highlighting the extraordinary potential. His garage blossomed into the adjacent vacant structure, providing employment for 15 locals previously facing hardship due to the town's unforeseen economic rejuvenation. Cloaked by advanced camouflage, the extraterrestrial vessel remained concealed in the desert, nearly imperceptible. Mac would periodically journey to the ship, employing genetic authorization sequences to further his education derived from the entity within. Every exploration unveiled extraordinary marvels, groundbreaking potential, and ominous premonitions regarding the imminent conclave. On one fateful visit, nearly a year following his initial discovery, Max engaged in a conversation with the holographic alien within the control chamber, deliberating on humanity's advancements. "Your measured approach demonstrates commendable prudence," Perry 79 remarked. "Your calculated dissemination of technologies has skillfully circumvented triggering security measures among your world's governing bodies, while simultaneously propelling your species' aptitude forward." Mac responded with a nod, his gaze fixed on the desert landscape visible through one of the ethereal viewing panels. "I figured. We likely have around 5 years before someone pieces it all together and links everything directly back to me. By then, though, the tech will be far too ubiquitous to stifle. A thorough evaluation suggests the conclave functions on extended timelines. However, their scout ships won't arrive in your star system for roughly 37 years. When they do, past 79's visual sensors executed their elaborate sequence. Should present adoption trends persist, your civilization will have attained significant technological leaps by then. Be perceived as an emergent, autonomous intellect instead of just another client species, a crucial distinction." Mac relaxed into the generously sized alien chair, now quite comfortable after numerous visits. Client species sounds rather sinister. The conclave isn't malicious, simply practical. Budding civilizations are categorized by technological prowess and distinctive cultural facets. Those not deemed advanced enough often receive guidance along preset developmental trajectories that serve conclave interests. Alliances, not subjugation, are offered to civilizations of sufficient sophistication. This choice dictates whether a species safeguards its independence or is assimilated into the conclave's ever-growing dominion. Mac surmised this was the catalyst. His forefather, a pilot, concealed this vital knowledge to provide a sliver of hope. Affirmative. This visionary pilot, a member of a splinter faction, championed the notion that civilizational strength burgeons from unfettered development, as opposed to meticulously regulated progression. Their radical ideology was eclipsed in the conclave, leading to this clandestine mission, a 23-million-year contingency. Discussing the extended strategy, Par 79's aspects coalesced into an expression Mac now perceived as genuine mirth. From our viewpoint, it seemed a hastily devised backup plan. Mac chuckled, then turned somber. Look, I was merely a technician. I repaired malfunctions. Never did I fathom I'd oversee all this. He indicated towards the vessel, the advanced tech, the trajectory of tomorrow he was instrumental in crafting. Maybe that's exactly the catalyst for your genetic predetermination. Those who rectify imperfections grasp the core essence. That every system harbors potential for enhancement, Mac mused, envisioning his garage, reborn as a cutting-edge R&D center, the once ailing town, revitalized into a vibrant innovation epicenter, the deluge of heartfelt letters from individuals whose lives had been profoundly impacted by his breakthroughs, medical advancements derived from alien data, eradicating previously insurmountable ailments, and energy solutions liberating struggling communities from crippling energy expenses. He hadn't just salvaged them, he'd elevated them. Perhaps a mechanic's life isn't so undesirable, Max mused, stroking the alien console, now as intimately known as a car's inner workings. The cosmos, it appears, simply craved a manual reader unafraid to delve in. 79's optic sensors fixated upon him, a fitting parallel to your ancestors' last recorded words before hiding this ship. As they put it, roughly, the conclave imagines they've accounted for all contingencies, yet they've disregarded the pivotal element. That somewhere, a keen intellect will unearth this key and open a gateway they never envisioned. To that intellect, I bequeath not merely information, but boundless potential. The destiny rests with you. Mac acknowledged deliberately, the gravity of the words resonating, an intertemporal communication from visionary to visionary. Well, he stated, failing to deliver after such elaborate efforts would be a disservice. He rose, easing his spine, and consulted his phone. The alien database's access glyph shimmered softly, a constant nudge towards deeper knowledge, refinement, and evolution. Suppose I should return to the lab, he remarked. There's a fusion reactor prototype, proving stubbornly uncooperative. Past 79's limbs initiated a routine sequence. Until we meet again, Air, a parting decree. Mac journeyed towards daylight, the desert beckoning. He halted, gazing back at the ship, visible only to him, a privilege of blood. The setting sun painted the sands with elongated shadows. The vessel momentarily unveiled, its authentic form shimmering before dissolving into the mirage. a humble mechanic, hands stained with grease, burdened with humanity's fate. If this wasn't the cosmos's grand jest, Mac couldn't fathom what was. He chuckled, alongside. It, never at it. He slid into his turbocharged dune buggy, now unleashing velocities that would ignite aerospace engineers' envy. Roaring back to town, he immersed himself in redesigning the fusion containment field, a ghost of yesterday's trial lingering. Behind him, embraced by the eternal red sand, 23 million years of silent anticipation had culminated, not in a cataclysmic explosion, not in a grandiose decree, but in a mechanic's insight, a testament to the universe's most vital implement, the profound ability to decipher functionality and elevate performance.